Friday. Welcome to the unusual Friday Commissioner meeting on the 21st of June. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we've approved the minutes from the June 6th meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from June 6th as submitted.
Hey, you weren't here, so you can't second. I second. All those in favor signify by aye. That's why you didn't sign them.
Nope, I didn't.
You can do this next one. Okay. We approve the accounts payable vouchers. I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable vouchers.
I second that.
All those in favor signify by aye. And we've also approved the payroll docket.
Make a motion to approve the payroll docket.
I second that.
All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Judge Moe? Yeah. Can I tell a little story
Sure.
on the voting day? I
Oh,
want people to know it.
sure.
It just caught me so off guard. So we're sitting outside at the voting place. You can only be so close to the door with your political stuff on. And this gentleman is having a difficult time getting in the door of the voting location in a wheelchair. Well, we knew the gentleman and the lady, so we helped him get out of the car, probably illegally. And like we had our stuff on, but we were looking at the door and we both kind of hesitated. And then Judge Moat took his shirt off. He had a shirt underneath, but he had his Judge Moat shirt on top, flipped it off, ran over, helped the gentleman in the door, and then came back. Yeah, I mean, if we could have had some music playing in the background, you know, it would have been.
It was America.
But it was like, you're like,
The United States of America.
That's right. It was just good old common sense.
That's right.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
I know, a week later.
the
We
gentleman,
acted so quickly.
he passed
He
away
would not have been able-
almost a week to the day after.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was Chris Sars who it was.
And I mean, we both we all kind of looked at each other when he got into the driver's side and said he wanted to drive. We're like, okay.
Yeah, Chris, he was a good man.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, so that will be forever etched in my mind that.
Day of
just that-
infamy.
yeah, well, not infamy, that's a bad way to put it. It was just that we both were kind of like, what do we do? And then all of a sudden,
Something
Judge
had to be
Moat
done.
was able. No, he won't.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I will remember that as well. And I want to thank you, all three of you, for your time this morning and appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. I've got some letters here that I had meant to forward to you earlier, and I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance to do that, but I'll be summarizing those letters so you don't need to necessarily take the time to read through them right now. I'm here to talk to you about our alternative to suspension program in Jefferson County. So before we implemented this program, students in our county, when they get suspended for out of school suspension, they would go home. And the difficulty there is they're removed from the classroom, they're removed from curriculum. By and large, they're probably playing video games, and by and large, they're probably not supervised and at more risk of engaging in delinquent acts or getting into trouble.
So in probability, they're looking forward to it,
Well,
which they shouldn't.
I'm going to touch on that. Yes. We think that there's probably pretty good incentive for kids to get in trouble because they know they can take a vacation from school. And so identifying this issue, my court, Julie, the probation department, court services, and the youth shelter entered into a partnership with Southwestern and Madison schools to create the Jefferson County Alternatives to Suspension program. The program itself consists of a classroom setting. We have an instructor there, and ideally, when we started the program, we had an assistant there as well. The instructor is a certified teacher. They have the instructional support personnel there. The program consists of morning hours where the children are reported instead of going home to play video games, they have to report to the school, the classroom location, where in the morning hours, they receive instruction and curriculum. And they're also, we have an opportunity to provide programming to them, so we can have experts or community members come in and talk to them about vaping, or the probation department has programming that can come in and work on different programmings or consequences of actions, that type of thing. And in the afternoons, the students do community service work. And what we see this as doing is eliminating that sort of incentive that students have to get suspended or get into trouble and getting a 3-day vacation. And the hope and the objective is you don't get to go home and just mess around. You have to go to this alternative place. We entered into a memorandum of understanding with the schools. The teacher and the instructional support personnel are Madison Consolidated employees. The schools split the salary and benefits of the instructor evenly, and the schools have updated their handbooks. As of last year, the school year 23-24, we began the program. The handbooks had been updated and we started the program. The process is that if a referral is made to the JCAS program, so if the child's referred by the school to the program, the student serves their suspension time the following day. They begin their 3-day, whatever suspension period they begin, and have to report the following day to the JCAS program. If they fail to attend the program, or if they misbehave in the program itself is designed around Title 22. There is a statute that provides for this type of program where the courts can enter into an agreement with the schools. And if they fail to report to the classroom, or they misbehave at the classroom, then the child and the parent are ordered into court the following morning. So it's a very swift response. I'll set it for hearing, and I will have the parent, guardian, and the child will be sheriffed. They'll be served with an order to appear in court. They're brought into court, and then I'll conduct a hearing and try to sort out what's going on. And I have the authority to determine whether or not further services should be referred, whether or not prosecutors should be referred in, or whether or not the Department of Child Services should be referred in. And we started again last year, and the issue that we have today is location. Last year, the city was gracious enough to donate space from the Brown Gym. And I will say that there was good and bad throughout the year. It was our first year. There were some challenges that we worked through and continue to work through because it is a new program. But one of the big obstacles with the Brown Gym is that they also run the pickleball program out of the gymnasium. And there are other distractions there. And furthermore, the Wi-Fi there was so terrible. We had a number of days where we couldn't get programming going because we didn't have access to Wi-Fi. The big thing with the Brown Gym is the distractions. And I have to say, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to run a program out of the Brown Gym this coming year. And we have been working very hard. I've met, probation has met with the schools. We've met several times over the last several months looking for alternatives. We've looked at Muncie. That's not an option because of the poor conditions the building is in. Eggleston doesn't have sufficient space because they have so many occupants there now. We looked at Venture Out. That's cost prohibitive, and the location is poor because we want it downtown. We need it close to the courthouse. We need it close to the probation department. Ivy Tech is not ideal, again, because of the location. We do have a temporary fix. The youth shelter office is available, but it's not ideal because we have to have 2 rooms for this program. In case, for example, last year we had difficulty where one child was having an event and we had to remove that child and we had to take the child somewhere else. So we moved the child to the next room where we were able to get things sort of under control. The 2-room aspect is also important because if we're talking about children of different ages, the program is designed essentially for 6th graders up to 12th graders, but we're looking at ages 2 and 12 or 13 up into 17. And we've got younger kids and older kids. We want to try to keep them in separate rooms, just really a safety matter. And we don't know that a 6th grader that's suspended from school should necessarily be in the same room as a 12th grader. So I am here humbly asking the commission for the opportunity to run our program out of the old jail. And I know that the commissioners are looking for alternatives, and the Department of Corrections juvenile institution is an angle that the commission is looking at, and I certainly respect that. I first want to say that the administrative side, when I say the administrative side of the old jail, I mean the old new jail, not the old jail. So I'm interested
Scared
in,
straight?
yeah, we are interested in the Walnut entrance, where you walk in on the Walnut side, there is a foyer, and then there's a waiting room. That would be one of our rooms. And then we're asking for, when you turn north, I think it is, there is a larger room where, in my experience, there were support staff for the sheriff's department, and I think maybe a detective had a desk there. We would like access to the bathrooms and those two rooms. We have desks, we have furnishings, we have equipment that we've already bought, we have cameras that we have. And I want to say that at no time would any student be in the secure side of the building or go beyond the hallways that lead to the restrooms. The location is absolutely ideal for us. Probation can walk 2 blocks. If there's an issue, I mean, the courthouse is right next door, and it just really would be an ideal location for us. We would have internet access, which would be absolutely necessary. And we just think that it would be a great fit. And I know that, I don't know where the commission is in terms of finding an alternative use for that building. And I know that, again, that there are alternatives that are under consideration. But I want you to know that I talked with both schools. They would, if there are other uses that are developed, if we could still run our program if you'd let us have those 2 rooms. I've checked with the schools. They would be okay with that. We can ensure safety of the kids that are in the program with those 2 rooms. The letters of support that I presented to you from Southwestern, the principal cites how important and helpful the program was last year, keeping students engaged in a safe and productive environment for students who are facing disciplinary consequences. This is important. 44% decrease, a 44% decrease in 9 weeks in out of school suspensions at Southwestern, and a 55% drop compared to the previous year. That's at Southwestern. In Madison, Principal Wallhead reports that the program was keeping students connected while serving out of school suspensions. Kids aren't getting behind academically, and their focus is not diminished, and their willingness to move forward with the schools is increased, or at least not diminished. And it addresses this conflict that they have between punishment and getting the child's in education and the educational mission. We had positive feedback from the schools in terms of the support that they felt they were getting, both for the students and the teachers. It lends credibility to the student program. It lends credibility to the schools when they partnered with the Jefferson Circuit Court, and they have this ability to say, look, you can continue to misbehave, but if you are going to misbehave, and you end up in out of school suspension, you don't get to go home and play Xbox. You're going to go in the mornings, you're going to get curriculum, and then you're going to go pick up trash, or you're going to go do community service work and make the community better. The other thing that I wanted to say is that this community service opportunity that we are continuing to develop certainly has an impact on the students, and the schools are reporting that. It develops this selfless service mentality that they find to be fundamental to the rehabilitation process. And we're seeking a positive way to modify the children's behavior. And we think that this is a great program. So as I said, I know that that we've been looking for some time. We've got this giant building and we don't know what to do with it. These 2 rooms would be critical, and it would be very, very, it would be a great thing for our community if you'd allow us to use these 2 rooms. So that's my pitch. I'm happy to answer any questions any of you may have. And I'm here.
Okay, the first room is where like the reception used to sit.
Yes.
You come through that small foyer and then that room.
Right.
Are you talking about like to go out to the hallway? You're not talking about the old sheriff's office, are you?
No.
The
So
one that's off to the left?
when you open the door from Walnut, You go in and there's a small foyer,
Mm-hmm.
small entrance room. Then you open up another door and that was a waiting room.
It's,
To the left was the phones. To the
Yeah.
south were the phones that the public would come in and talk
Right.
to the inmates. We're not talking about using any of that. We want that waiting
It's
room.
somewhat this size, maybe.
Yes.
Little bit, but then,
Then if you turn north or
You get-
right, there's a window there and there's a door. And that's where there were printers and support staff for the sheriff's department. Mary Jo
Okay,
worked there
okay.
on one of those desks, that room. So those two rooms, I think there is a restroom
if
in the
you come
waiting
right out of
room.
that hallway, there's two restrooms right
Yes,
there too.
and we
so-
like that as
And
well.
you can lock all that other off. so
Everything else could be locked
They
off.
couldn't wander or go anywhere, so even if they did, so.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't think it would interfere with what we're looking at.
I don't
Juvenile
either.
facility either. When we went over and looked, there's this wall here and you're coming this way, and if we put a juvenile facility, it's that way.
Yeah, we could go the other way.
It wouldn't interfere.
You probably have to do some more setups on internet access, like for stations, right?
Yeah,
Which shouldn't be a biggie, but
We, just to say, we have hotspots too that would be available, so it would, I believe that they would be sufficient to be able to run the program also. So if there's not internet in the building already, at least temporarily, we would still be able to do it.
there is, because the main IT room is right towards the courthouse from where you're at anyway, in that building. But a hard wire is hard to beat
yes,
for dependability, so
very much so.
you don't need to be fighting that issue when you're trying to control them, so. I don't have a problem with it.
They're big enough for you?
Yes,
Do we-
we don't need a whole lot. Julie and I
Okay.
wrote down the numbers here. Last,
Mhm.
last year, we had 42 referrals to the program, totaling 123 days. So you think about that's 123 days of lost time that was not lost. I think averaging students.
We averaged about 3, but that, just to clarify, that was just the
Sure,
second semester.
sure.
We did not start, so it was not the entire school
You're
year, so.
I misspoke. I
No, no,
apologize.
no,
We
it's
didn't
fine.
make
I'm
it-
just,
We
I
started.
mean, do we? So start there, and I hate to think, but just like everything else, do we need to keep looking for a larger space down the road? Or
We
you don't think so? Okay,
no, we
okay.
think- We think
That's fine.
this could be it. It
Okay.
could be a new home.
What's the biggest group, I mean, just you've ever had? I mean, the total mix, six,
Six.
8,
6 was the
Okay.
largest
But you're
that
probably
before the end
talking-
of the year.
great graders and also.
Trying to get out of school early. No.
You want the
We
question?
want to keep them separate.
Gotcha, so.
And the opportunities for community service, that was one of the other things that we're still working on developing. And I want to share that this program is based on one that's been running up for years in Ripley County. And when I originally took office in 2018, this has been one of my dreams to have a program that works, that runs that well. And my staff has been great at really, it is hard to get it up and running smoothly. And we've worked very, very hard with the schools to do that. But, this would be, again, just a great program to run, and all we need are those 2 rooms. And again, access to the restrooms. What I was going to share was the opportunities for community service. What we're talking about are having the kids go to River Terrace to interview some of the people living there, working on cleaning up down by the river. There are a lot of opportunities downtown that we see that, instead of playing games, you're gonna do a little work and make our community better. And, feedback from the parents has been positive anecdotally. The parents are thrilled because they worry about some of the parents are not able to be home with their kids. They have to work. So this addresses that additional concern.
I mean, I think that side's a great side. I mean,
And it's in relatively decent shape compared to.
oh, no, I meant the community service
Oh,
side of
yeah.
things. I mean, I think that's sometimes that's what they need. They need to get out and run a little. It'll get
If you
cold.
do something for someone else.
Sure.
and-
If you just change one's outlook or view, it's success, so.
Yeah. We just we want to create an environment where they don't want to come back. They don't want to misbehave on purpose because they're gonna end
Now
up.
we're gonna fight that, aren't we? They're
Yeah.
they're gonna get
There's a
suspended so they go to.
Sorry.
There's a deterrent
Yes. that's what-
instead of what are they gonna do?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I ran into police officers that, you know, they've seen kids that are out of school. Oh, you got suspended. You got what you wanted? Yeah, I did. And
Yeah.
this would change that.
Do we need to do anything to get it ready or we?
We would be able to move everything in ourselves. You guys,
Okay.
I mean, all we need is a key. I mean,
Well,
everything
we
else. would be-
probably should change the core so that just you guys have access. And of course, Dwayne would have a master, so if he had to get in and do it, you know, but anyway,
You have to be
then that
careful
way
with
there's no question. Who's got
Don't
access
lose your
to it.
key. 'Cause- Sorry.
I don't know the other thought. There's the sheriff's department logo on that door, and I don't know if that's something that we might want to change, but.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's fine. I don't think they're moving back.
Yeah, they're coming home too.
I hope so. Hope they stay there. Yeah, yeah.
need that in the motion.
Sure, I entertain a motion to accept this
I will
proposal.
make a motion to allow Judge Moat to use the 2 rooms of the jail on the old administrative side for his program.
A second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Let us know, let us know if there's other things you need.
Take your shirt off.
Will do.
Right. I wish I'd taken a video. But it'll forever be up here. Cause I mean, we were like, what do we do? And then here we go, off it comes and,
Hero.
yes.
Thank
I guess,
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
if
you.
the music's playing, it would have been,
Oh, that's me.
Okay.
Engineer.
Bobby?
Good morning.
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 Everybody doing well on a great Friday morning? I just have a couple of contracts I'll start with that we need to get taken care of so we can keep everything moving along. This is a reimbursement contract where it's on Bridge 107. We have under federal aid. This is with the utility company with Southeastern Indiana REMC. They'll need to relocate some of their lines for us to be able to do that bridge construction. The agreement amount is gonna be $29,030.76. And that is in reference to DES number 2002980. If I can get you guys to approve that, we can get that signed and keep everything moving right on along with it.
entertain a motion for approval of this contract.
I make a motion to approve the bridge replacement 107 utility reimbursement agreement.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye.
The other one I have is also on Bridge 107. The funding for this has actually already been approved and it's gone through FMIS, which is a nice little acronym, something with the state. Long story short, it has to be a separate agreement when we're doing a purchasing of some of the grounds and the right of way that's gonna be there. So it's a right of way contract that's also with United. The total request for that with the land, relocation of entities, which there are no relocation of entities, so there's a 0 in that line item. The right of way services and the incident or the right of way costs, which would include the recording of fees, title insurance, miscellaneous appraisal fees, partial mortgage release fees, as well as court appointed appraiser fees, would be $16,652, which would be reimbursed. That is the amount that we're actually requesting for the reimbursement. The total acquisition cost will be right at the estimate is $20,815.
Okay.
They had part of them requested highlights. I read there and I almost didn't read the fine print. That's the part you gotta read it.
So is that included in here? Or is that a separate?
That one's not included in there.
Okay, okay.
This is one I actually sent the email about a month ago as I was making sure this was something I had to do and needed to do this publicly. Since part of the funding has already been approved, I wasn't sure I had to do this, and it was advised that I go ahead and go through and make it very public. I thought that was probably a great advice.
Just looking up your file.
I can give you this copy.
No, that's
I
fine.
sent it to you.
Yeah,
in
I
email a while
remember
back.
seeing it.
I apologize for not passing that one along,
Oh.
having that one in front of you as well.
Entertain a motion to approve the second, is it a second contract specifically, or just an
It's-
addendum to
It's
the?
just a professional services agreement for the right-of-way services.
Okay.
That's actually still within the same contract and that same DES number of that 2002980.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the easement contract associated with 2002980. And also for Bridge 107, so.
I'll second.
any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Thank you very much. Everything else, we're just trucking right along. It's kind of surprising. We still had some trees that just decided to give up and fall down. We've had to go clean up even without some of the wind help. And we're hoping we can get some rain here sometime to settle down some of the dust issues on the gravel roads. Cause some of them even called, even with the calcium chloride and things that we put down, it's just so dry.
Mhm.
It's not working as well as ideal because it draws the moisture to help kind of suppress some of that dust. So
It's gonna have some moisture to draw from.
it needs a little bit, that's for sure. Vegetation control's moving right along. We've been doing a lot of patching the potholes, and we've been running total patcher a lot, taking care of some places that are even still kind of minor deficiencies, so to speak, so it'll kind of seal those up and keep the water out, and punching a lot of culverts and doing a lot of ditchings. Very busy time, for sure.
And
Yeah,
the
so-
and the weeds keep growing, so.
The weeds keep
we
growing.
Keep going.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
That's all I've got, unless you guys have something for me.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I like, she's going, she's going.
You're following the agenda, okay, wait a minute, we're gonna.
You can put it back. Just have it in front of me. Okay. So I sent you guys a contract, a really bare minimum contract for an IT intern. That'll be funded out of the health first funding, and the money's already in the contracts line item for that. Just so basic support. We've had Ovation in a little bit, and they've helped with a few things, but we just need a little bit more than a little bit of help. Our systems are just really old. So
Should we
it's,
start looking at replacing those?
we
Oh,
did,
Okay,
but to do that, some of our PCs are listed by position instead of person, so the server switchover kind of messed with some of our accesses to the files, and now everyone kind of has access to random files or all the files, so we're just needing to clean up loose ends. I've interviewed this person, and they're, they're fully capable of doing all of these things. They're pretty minor in terms of tech. If you understand it, I do not. So, it's basic stuff, but things that need help. We have a wide range of capabilities and abilities when it comes to being tech savvy. So some people need a little bit more support than others, and it's just something that's kind of outside of what Ovation does. So, and it's a good opportunity for a college kid to come in and get some good experience. So, and Pat did look it over, so it was good.
any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the contract for the summer internship at the health department.
I'll make a motion to have Mark Minjoni as the contractor at the health department for the summer internship.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, signify by aye.
I have a contract here for you.
Can you-
Sign this one. And I'll take it back and have you sign it and I'll scan a copy to you, but there's also a spot for you to sign.
You just need one of these, I think.
Yeah, I can sign it. And then I'll have him sign it on Monday and we'll send you that. Do you want my update too? I'm not here.
Well, I know that. No, we're gonna make you sit down and then. come up with it.
Maybe. So our Health First Indiana, the new funding, that budget was due at the beginning of this month. So that's been turned in. This next year, 2025, will be the full amount of approximately $720,000. So we have,
Did hear
Partner-
that all 92 counties opted
they
in.
did, all 92
So,
counties
that's
have opted
good
in
or
this
bad
time.
for us.
I think it's good. It's, I mean, it takes our numbers down a little bit, so it won't quite be the full,
Sure.
but it's definitely a good thing. So we partnered, there's some programs in our budget that have partnered with the schools, Bethany Legacy for a few things, a position at Norton KDH that we're partnering with Switzerland County to help fund that meets some of our maternal and child health criteria. And then, the Children's Advocacy Center, some of their stuff when it comes to trauma and injury prevention and education. It's our core services markers. They're already in one of our school systems. They're trying to get into another one. I honestly, I think it's a good thing. I really do.
Sure, we
There's-
just keep
there's
pushing them to go outside of one school, so.
Yep. We are partnered with New Hope Services, WIC. You'll actually probably see some contracts from me here soon for programs. We're trying to get off the ground with them now as well. And then we also are gonna have a contract with the Tobacco Coalition. We're taking their part-time youth coordinator that's currently at Southwestern only. And we're gonna fund that position as a full-time coordinator so they can be in both school systems. So, to speak on a little bit about the alternative suspension program that Judge Moak was talking about, I've talked to the schools about it as well, and they're seeing huge differences. They're really appreciating it. That internal conflict that they have as a school who's supposed to be education first, and then the disciplinary action, it's weighed heavy on them for a really long time as to how to approach that system and the disciplinary actions to take on with some of these children. And this has really alleviated a lot of that stress point with the school systems that just kind of went unnoticed or unable to do anything with.
Sure.
Because they just didn't have an alternative.
Sure, I think they noticed it, but
I mean,
they had no alternative to deal
Yeah,
with it, yeah.
so it's really, it's helped the schools. I've talked to the school systems, both of them are larger ones, about it at different points. Specifically about, some of the vaping issues that they've had, and that's caused a lot of their suspensions. And, I can just say that they've felt the stress relief just from the administrative side on their decision making when it comes to this program. But those are just a few of the things that we have in our budget for 2025. So, and some of them will be happening this year a little bit, so you'll be seeing some more contracts as soon as we get them ironed out and I get them sent over to Pat. So,
Probably good just to, it doesn't have to be real detailed, but a summary of all the new things that you're doing, because, well, I gotta believe the state's asking for that too, but
Yeah.
just to let people know, okay, what are the things that we're doing with that, just let them know.
yep, I'm working on it right now to put it out in actual text format outside of my budget, so I can forward that to you guys when I get it done. Give me a little grace on it.
I'm just-
But I will send it to
I was
you.
not asking for it tomorrow, but
Okay.
sometime.
Yeah.
Be good.
Is there anything else that you would want in it, or just a little?
No, just to let people know. I mean, they've heard a lot about this program coming out and now you can say, and these are the things that we're doing.
I think it's gonna do a
So-
lot of good for
Oh,
community. It's
I
just a
agree.
slow roll when they plop a bunch of money in front of you
Sure.
and you don't have anything in place. When they give it to you, it's starting from the ground up, getting everybody's buy-in on it, so. But I think we've got some pretty cool programs that are gonna come out of it, that.
Good.
We'd love to share. So,
Thank you.
Go.
Just, the band did its first rescue run this week. We took 12 cats to rescue, which was exciting, and that's all I wanted. Well, we lost our air conditioner on Tuesday and it was repaired on Wednesday, so
Good.
just trucking along.
Manning along.
Yeah, banding along. There you go.
I see he's gonna take, I'll just dangle it out there and see, okay.
So next week's a little busy. I do appreciate the morning meeting today. Quite nice.
You thank Ron.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that.
His work schedule, it's,
Maybe we
I
should-
guess mine too, lets me have Fridays
Our
off.
schedule should make us have a little bit more. So next week, we've got a new employee begins training. On June 26th, the deputy director of statewide 911 board and in digital will be visiting our site. And on the 27th, Supervisor Emily Kirchhoff and I are attending a recruit, retain, and schedule making course at the Kentucky State Police Academy in Frankfort, Kentucky. No question.
Good.
Yes.
So I'll talk about something that he presented at the last 911 board meeting, is that a list of all the calls that they received is from beginning of the year through June, right? And, we've often talked about trying to find a way that, there are some calls that are definitely 911 calls, but there are some other ones that they get and you're like, really? So we may look at trying to do something with the phone system or a phone tree or something. If someone calls, not 911 obviously, but it's going to be the admin number that would point them to a direction that, while the dispatchers are taking 911 calls, they don't need to worry with water issues or anything. So other things. So probably start working together. We'll have a proposal to look at that, but I think that'll help.
Three things up.
Yeah. Thanks. And he's off, whoever, nothing else.
Good morning, and I'll go ahead and say thank you for the morning meeting on behalf of everybody.
Yes,
Yes, thank you.
Just to give you a heads up about what's kind of been going on up here. I finally did get finished with that primary emergency management course. That's complete. Jessica has her training complete. Working on a couple grants, the energy grant for the installation of the building at Hanover and the Kent Howard garage. I had to watch what turned into be a 6-hour webinar for the Davis Baker Act. And wow, it was very interesting. It was captured my attention pretty quick. So yeah, it was
Really?
pretty rough to get through.
Really?
But we've got that done. The contractor has to go through that program as well. And once that happens, it gets confirmed, and that's the last step that we'll have to do to get started. So I got a couple more questions about the building out there. There's some potentials out there. I think it would be much easier if we had a drive-through rather than just one garage door to get in and out. That biggest mobile command trailer that we have is difficult to back in and out. And there's no way to pull in. There's enough stuff in there now. There's no way to pull in and maneuver that thing around the building. So I think probably the best place, without talking to the contractor guys, maybe that would be the west wall in the very far back corner in the back where those sign poles sit. I think that could be easy
Turn
access
enough
to get
room
in
on
off the
west side
road.
outside the
And
building.
then you can get in the building off there and make that turn and we wouldn't have to do anything to behind the building to add, culvert or anything like that. It offer a driveway. I think there's enough room to make that turn and be okay. But I don't know how much garage door we think costs this time. since the economy is the way that it is, and how long it may take to get.
Sure, that
So,
it'll be 48 months, you can have.
probably, so, but it'd be about our, so. And, so before they get started with that, I'd like to be able to at least investigate that, see if that's a possibility. And hopefully it's a profit building. Cost effective. We did get another, Duke Energy Grant Award. They helped us, purchase some drone equipment last year. And, this new grant cycle is out again this year. So the grant award is about $3,000. And I'm taking a look at some battery powered chainsaws and battery tools. I know there's several guys, or the sheriff's department have their own, chainsaw stuff like that, they stick in their cars. And that keeps a lot of, fire guys from having to get out of bed and cut down some trees, keep some of the state, the county highway guys from getting out and having to do that as well. And or we can all get done a lot quicker if we have a few extra these things out there. So I thought that was a pretty good deal, not having to carry fuel in your car. A lot of business and then have the fumes, the vapors and the danger of that thing. Bother out of that trip a lot bit. So we got approval for that. I'm in the process of finishing out our community foundation grant that we got last year. That'll be finalized in the next couple of days. Port security grant. We talked about teaming up with the city and looking at getting a boat for the port here. That's about finished up. I'm just working on the federal side of the budget. It's asking for a federal on federal side of the budget. And so once I get that figured out and then notice funding application stuff, we'll have that done during probably before Monday. We did actually get some decent money knocked out of that boat. I talked to the vendor, and I got a copy of New Albany's their bid package on that boat. And that's why I submitted to them, just asking them to add some fire equipment to that a lot bit. And they paid $230,000 and I think 360 something when they gave us an estimate for that. And they knocked about almost $60,000 off the price of that. So that gets us, down under the potential funding source of the thing that we'll end up getting. The dollar amount has went down significantly for that out of that federal fund, and any of those dollars are 25 or 75-25 match. So we give them 25%, they give us 75%. So best case scenarios are about $75,000 out of that potential grant, which is nice. It's good money to have, but we're gonna have to look at some funding sources ourselves with this thing to complete the project. So. Agency assist, we've had a handful of those. We've helped out Clark County with some tornado stuff. I went down to help them with Thunder River Louisville, helped the Federal Air Marshal Service, the FBI and the FAA for Thunder River Louisville and the Indianapolis 500. I'm anticipating that some of that equipment will be down here for the guy. It's available. We're going to go back up there to do some assists with them for the 400. And that should be all of Indianapolis for a little while for us, help out up there. That's a counter UAS program. And since we've really kind of stepped up and filled the gap, at least down in this area of the state for this drone thing across the state, when they're looking for people for drone anything, it's a pretty small community right now. So we get to have a bit to help them with that. It's a great program and something that we learned I think it was about a year and a half ago that the local power plant got, they had a threat that was identified by the FBI and verified. It was an organization that made threats there to attack the power plant and substations with drones and some kind of devices. All of that, they didn't really get into the details about that, but it was identified as certainly a threat risk. So that counter drone technology will be huge. That's some stuff that I put in for in that in the state SHSP grant fund is how we can at least know where these things are flying all that bit. And ironically, the last 2 weeks, two substations have been reported with vandalism and with theft. And 2 days ago, there was a drone flying over. The guys are all working all that stuff on the smokestacks and over top of the actual power plant itself. So it was pretty scary when it came across the radio and so I talked to a couple of city police guys were down there and we located the person initially, but found some pictures and found out who it was, and I had a decent conversation with that. That information being relayed up to the Air Marshal's office. They're in charge of the county ground program for the country. And so they've taken the information and passed that on to correct people. Had multiple drone responses here locally, just the fire department response, a couple missing persons and a rescue or two. Which is kind of the season. Regatta been standby, National Weather Service is gonna be here, a couple other counties are on standby to come help us. But we've not really worked out the details about whether we really are gonna set up the whole counter drone thing to be down there for that. I'm just waiting on a couple people to confirm that the equipment's available. And then we'll go from there. But on some level, we'll be here, either managing, you'll see, or, back and forth the river. So give them updates on weather conditions and all like that. It's festival season, so, lots of festivals in town, a lot of business, so we're just kind of ready for that, so no standbys. And we talked about that staff a little bit. About being available on a lot of business orders, where you get to. The event planning document we were working on is a small committee, of people that we're talking about. I know what spawned this was the, is it the IMX motocross, I forget what their
Sure.
acronym is, the motocross crew that's in Canaan. And, I guess a couple weeks ago, unfortunately, they had a fatality, during a race. Subsequently, I did talk with someone who is some emergency response firefighter, has some type of EMT or paramedic experiences out of Indianapolis, like Brownsburg. And so we discussed a few things. I sent him to Shane Williams about the probability of them needing to find some kind of ambulance and stuff like that to be on standby all the time, more than just a few people that know some first aid stuff. And him and Shane are gonna work out some details on that. I've not had a conversation with Shane after that's happened yet, and I'll follow up with him sometime next week. Just to see where that happens to set. It's not a death investigation. It's not something that's uncommon in racing, of course. A couple of years ago, you may remember during a vintage race, we had a Gold Cup here. One of the drivers of the vintage boat, he had crashed and ended up dying from that as well. And so that was a little bit of learning that was afforded, I guess, the opportunity to understand and then just there's nowhere for it. It's just part of the race and something that happens. It's dangerous sports. And I think they all know the risks all of it. So I don't think that really adds a whole lot more other than just a little more complex EMS situation that they need to get straightened out. And I think that's more on the company because kind of for us to solve for them. The conversation started out as he's like, well, we only got this and we should have that. And I'm like, well, we should have more stuff out there. So that should be your responsibility. So I think the conversation he's had with Shane, I think that probably put that situation up, which is good. We're investigating new computers for the UFC. A lot of those things they're not even updatable anymore, which is a huge security risk. And so we're not using those. We have a few of the what I'm gonna call the newer laptops that we have. And so they're out there if we need them to fire the OC and work from. During a tornado response, we had this thing open, Clark County. There was a lot of people that were here. They brought their own laptops to work and stuff like that. So I think into that we're okay at the moment, but I don't think we will take a look at replacing some of those things. We're having some problems with IT stuff up here, all the same as Lindsay's having. And it's almost like one step forward, two steps back on some things a lot bit. I lost a lot of things on my calendar. I think I've got 2 or 3 profiles on the main computer in the office there, to the point where it's almost like ready just to scrap that whole thing and try to start over again and build it from there instead of keep adding things on stuff that I don't know I'm ever gonna find or recover. So that's something that we intend to have a conversation about at some point as well. I think they're doing what they can do, but I think the system kind of requires a little bit more than what they've been able to provide for us. Like the later summer and more fall project, my intention is to try to meet up with the live industry. I know that most industries around here have some type of first aid people and or EMT and response teams and people. So I've talked with Shane a little bit about this and I'd like to see some more standardized training for those people and for Shane and the medics that arrive at their location to take care of people. What they can kind of expect from the people that are there on the ground. the first 8 people in there, and then potentially recruiting people like that to come into a CERT team that we'd like to get started. So I think that can help us as much as we can help them, which is good. Devin Collins is our new custodian. She got started, I think, last week, maybe. The August 29th, that's something that you may be interested in. I sent you guys an email about that. If you are interested, IDHS is gonna be down for a full-scale exercise, and that's gonna be with tornado damage assessments. They have a new tool that's out, so that will be training for us as well. But it will be all day long, full scale, all day exercise, and tornado is the subject. It's gonna be held at the Venture Out Business Center, is where that will be. And if anybody else wants to come and be a part of that, then please come up, because if it's a large scale tornado, like it's happened in the past, and it seems like Tornado Alley is moving closer and closer and closer. And I'm very glad we're not Vanderburgh County, because they seem like they've really got a lot this year. But that means that everything is closer to us, and so we need more preparation. So I would encourage you, if you've not ever thought about coming to something like that, and seeing how that works, and seeing how we can, really kind of work better together, because sometimes we don't get the opportunity to do that very often, and this is a good consult day to try to do something like that. So if you can attend, that would be fantastic, and I think it would be helpful in learning, really a learning curve for all of us, really. Let's see, National Weather Service is calling for a long hot season. I mean, we've seen it already. We went from it was cold, and then it was monsoon and tornado season. And I was hoping for fire pit season there for a little bit, but then we went right straight to desert conditions, seems like. So keeping in contact with the fire departments and the chiefs about the whole dry situation, all our business, and just making sure we're on top of things. And that's kind of about it for me. Any questions?
Thank you.
Just a couple things real quick. So Tuesday this week, we did go live with our public portal, put some links out on the county website and social media. I checked this morning, and since Tuesday when we did it, we've got through over 1,000 documents viewed. So all we have out there are marriage licenses, so people are burning them up. Checking out, get everybody married, and so, but that's it. That's what it's there for. So no issues, everything's working well with it. Hopefully over the next couple of weeks, we'll start adding more content as things get scanned in and become available. So it's been good so far. So yeah, appreciate your all support on that. We actually even got the bill for it, so we'll get that paid. So I prepared a request for proposal for basically looking for a consultant to develop an infrastructure master plan. I sent it to you either, I don't know, earlier this week or late last week, so hopefully you've had a chance to look at it. Basically looking for someone to come in, specifically, we got worded here, perform a systematic review of existing infrastructure information while focusing on priority development areas within the county. So if you guys are good with that, we'd like to get that out and see if we can get some takers on that.
That was good.
I don't know what we gotta do to get it out there, but it's ready to go if you guys are good.
Did you have any comments or anything?
I just thought it was very good.
So I'll send it out, and I'll put a little email with it, but I know of folks that have shown interest in, and we'll get it up on them.
I'll send you a Word
Yeah,
document thing. I'll send you a PDF.
Okay,
copy,
okay.
so that locked in. Okay. Thanks. Any questions? Anything else? All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you.
You guys want to hear from me?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't.
I know, just because it was a morning meeting, or you had something?
No, I'll just talk for a minute.
All right, ready? Go.
No, okay, I would say a minute. I should change my wording.
That's just joking with you.
So we had a busy tax season, lots of questions about assessments. Was a little heightened this year.
They
compared to other
changed.
years. I mean, I've been in office a long time, but this year was
a little heightened, but it's okay. It only resulted in, I think I have maybe around 20 to 25 formal appeals. So out of over 20,000 parcels, I'd say we're in good shape with that. Because most of the time people just have questions. They just want to know why. We explain it and everything's fine. So we're trying to get working on those formal appeals. We're done entering all of our business personal property. We've been working on real property roll reports to get to roll our values to the auditor's office and then to the state. We've started cyclical reassessments. So our data collectors from Tyler Technologies are out in Hanover right now. And we're on track with that. We're on track with everything. So, and we're gonna be rolling probably next week our assessments to the auditor's office. So, we're in good shape with all that. So that's pretty much it, unless you have any questions. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Megan?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
She's glad she's done with tax time too.
Yeah, tax collection was good. We're gearing up for tax sale. So that's our next step. That's about it.
I have a few things.
Well, how about you, Sarah?
So, we had a settlement approved, so we did get those funds out this week to all the other entities. I am actively accepting applications for my office. We are hiring someone full-time since we are having 2 employees that will not be employed with us by the end of the year. So we're trying to get a jump start on the training. It's almost budget time, so budgets are due to my office by July 14th. And they are available on Lao for everyone to input themselves. And I've been going to departments and helping everyone if they need help with that. Everyone seems to really like the whole process. It seems fairly easy once we get out and show people how to do that. So, our State Board of Account audit is being wrapped up. They are working on the last few things. They have been here since,
Right before tax collection.
yeah, beginning of May. So, we're wrapping up that, thankfully. One thing in that audit.
Downstairs without opening.
Oh, well, they had to move to the 3rd floor a couple
They did.
days because it was a little stuffy downstairs in the basement, but,
Take the hint.
no. Yeah, so, that is always it lightens the load a little on our office because that is a lot of extra work when they are here for me and Megan. So we'll be glad when they wrap that up. So we'll have our exit conference soon, probably. I'm trying to get it before fair. I'm trying to use that as my, hey, we need to do this before I go to fair. During the audit, they look through all of my interlocal agreements and want to know why I pay certain entities. And we do not have an interlocal agreement for the animal shelter. And they want to know why we do not have an interlocal for that. And if we're accounting for the city and the town of Hanover to give us money for that budget, we need to have one before the next time we're audited. So this is our 2nd year without one. So if we could get that, that makes budgeting, I know the city is getting ready to jump into budgeting as well. And if we could base that more like the 911 interlocal, where we could base it on a percentage, that would be, I think it would be best for all units to know exactly how much to budget. But other than that, everything is smooth sailing in the auditor's office. And thank you for the morning meeting. As someone that attends all county meetings, I appreciate morning meetings.
I never did get that survey from that guy.
Yeah, me neither.
So I looked the
Yeah.
last 2 days and didn't.
So I went downstairs to follow up on that yesterday, and they said that as long as we've made an effort at least more than once, then we're fine. So they said that they had sent it and I said, okay. So, I'm not sure. So everything's good. And I know as far as the federal questionnaire, they actually went around to people within the courthouse and did that verbally. And then he said that that was sufficient.
So that was.
So the federal portion, that
Yeah,
second
yeah,
one,
so-
so I think the second one, he said he
Don't worry about it.
ended up not sending because of that. So,
And then back to the animal shelter, but we provided a copy to the city and they were supposed to be getting some comments back, so I'll reach out on that.
Okay.
Those are at, so we get that. Okay,
thank you so much.
no problem.
The courthouse does have a big update. It did have one. We got Wi-Fi
My
this
goodness,
last week,
be still,
all
and be beating on it.
3 floors. So, that's a huge change.
Yes. Mhm. Mhm.
You did.
Yeah.
Only thing I got, of course, I told you guys the camera systems ago, so working on getting that put in with Ovation, so hopefully move on with that quickly.
And we have the request for proposal for kind of the infrastructure evaluation, just to see where some, I don't know that we can kind of do a general look over all the county, but then I think we have a few spots we'd want to focus in on, just to see, probably the southwest part down there. Is there something that needs to be done there? And look at a couple other areas, but rather than just letting them run wild in the whole county, we'll probably limit it to a few spots and kind of do it that way and see what makes sense. So. Sure.
I'll make a motion to adjourn, John.
A second.
All those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Thank you
Thanks,
for coming.
everybody.
Thank you.